Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Ashleigh, and today we are talking about one topic that is deeply, deeply personal to myself and incredibly transformative if you take the time to step back, really reflect on yourself and your actions, and see where you might not be really anchoring this into your life, and that is the power of self-respect. If you don't respect yourself, how could anybody else? Playing small is the cost of opportunities, respect, success, and one topic, unfortunately, is very close to home for me. So let's have a quick chat about self-respect. To me, self-respect comes from our personal standards, our inner core beliefs, and what we're willing to tolerate and what we're not willing to tolerate. Again, obviously, that probably links back to your standards. Self-respect, to me, was a very strange relationship, let's say, because at times I had great high level of self-respect of myself. Just in different ways, it was very bizarre. And other ways I could look at it and be like, you girl, you had zero self-respect. And of course, that comes down to each individual person's perceptions and ideas of what a life should look like. And if I look back on my life, I can say I definitely had areas where I had no self-respect. I had high standards for myself in ways. I had high standards for the people that I allowed into my life. But the core belief that I had was that I had zero self-respect because I didn't really have self-love. And I didn't really have any self-worth and deeply insecure, and the list went on. So let's jump into 3 key takeaways for self-respect, and then we can discuss it a little bit more and how it might be showing up for you personally. Self-respect comes from standards, not success. I want you to have a think about what that might mean for you. What your standards say about you. What are you willing to tolerate in a relationship? Let's start there. I have a very fundamental belief that well, it's not fundamental, it's the first thing that I learned in therapy when I started to go was to look at your relationships. And there'll be a very key line, of how you were treated, like a pattern. How you were treated, what you were willing to tolerate, and at what point and how the relationship started and how and what point it ended. And it'll tell it to a story. My story was not fantastic. My story told me that when it came to my relationships, especially my intimate ones, like romantic relationships, I would let my standards slip and I would just get walked over. In my friendships, though, no. I would cut friends off quicker than I cut off any man. If you're looking at your relationship and you're like, actually, it's not really great. Like, he cheats on me, he yells at me, he throws things, he speaks in a condescending manner. He doesn't help around the house. He is, comes and goes. He's not committed. That is. Say, is this the type of man that I want to be with? Or by me lowering my standards, am I respecting myself? And if the answer is no, then you best be packing a bag, because your self-respect is the only thing that matters. And I tell you what, when you lose your self-respect, it's hard. It's hard to get back. Speaking from that hard road that Ashley likes to go down. However, I'm going to add this in. Once you get it back, it's like one of those things that you'll never give away again. It'll mean more to you than anything else, and you won't want to get rid of it. So on one hand, while I understood what it meant to have no self-respect, you best believe that I'm not going back. I will never go back. That bar's so high. Number 2, you attract who you are. Let me say that again. You attract who you are, not what you want. I'm a very fundamental core believer that the world is mirrors. So if I'm attracting somebody, we're on the same energetic wavelength at the time that we're being attracted. Fantastic. Love that. Which usually means we're at the same place energetically and growth-wise. We'll mirror each other to trigger each other to get each other to grow. Or we'll stay at the same level, or we'll be like, fuck that, and off we go. So with that in mind, you also attract what you tolerate. So if you tolerate a man who wants a mum and you mother him, you just lowered the bar. Like, of course he's got nowhere to hit. Like, you just like, oh, me, cool. What's that? In work, if your boss is constantly asking you to just, work 15 minutes later, just work 15 minutes later, it'll be fine. And you're like, okay. And you keep doing it over and over again. Why are they going to change it? Why are they going to pay you? Like, you set the standard. I'm a firm believer, and I will die on this hill, that women set the standard. We set it, not men. We set the standard. So when we're scraping, when we're out there complaining about dating, being like, there's no one to date, we set that. Like, we did that. If we want to change it, we as a collective women have to raise the bar. And I must say, we are doing this. Stay on track. And When we set the bar, it means that when something happens, we don't lower it down to meet their expectations. No, stay there. Have them come up in any facet, whether it be work. If your boss is saying, hey, I need you to stay back like 30 minutes after work, can you do that? You'd be like, yeah, sure, of course. I would just, need to be paid. That's fair. If you're with a man and he is not a very good one, or if you're with a woman and she's not a very good one, you're either lowering your standards to meet her or him, or you're raising and saying, get the fuck out, for them to raise. You set the standard for your self-respect. And number three is small upgrades create big energy shifts. Act like the person that you want to become. I'm sure that we all have a version, or at least I do, a version of who we want to be. What she looks like, what he looks like, how she shows up, how she dresses, what her clothes are like, what her hair's like, what type of jewelry does she wear, how does she speak. Whatever that version is, be her today. Like today. Start acting like that person. Be goddamn delusional. You know how many times I've been delusional? Delusion has got me into rooms that I don't think I would have got any other time. The amount of people that I meet, it's just purely delusion. So if you're the type of woman who's like, my version of my best self, or whatever she is, like if she's your alter ego, I have an alter ego. And her name's Amber, and Amber is fan-fucking-tastic. List out your alter ego and be like, okay, these are the traits that she has. This is who I want to be, right? This is who I want to be. Let's pretend that your version, like she has her own business. She has her own business. She dresses chic. She has hair extensions. She loves to get her nails done, facials month to month. She exudes luxury, like whatever it is. You tell me what she is and then show up as her. She exudes confidence. She has a powerful magnetic aura. Like whatever it is, decide it, listen out, and be like, okay, well, this is what I want. This is how I'm currently showing up. Don't shame it. Don't judge it. Just be honest. And they'll be like, and here we start. And then practice it every fucking day until you become her. And you best believe that when it happens, you won't even notice. One day you'll just be like, oh shit, I'm her. I'm the version that I wanted. I'm the version that I always knew I could be. I'm the version who I thought I was going to be. She's here. And as I'm saying this, I'm also saying this to myself. But if you can, everything in life is action. Like everything. We talk about manifestation, and you best believe I've manifested some fan-fucking-tastic things in my life. But I didn't just sit there and be like, come to me. Like, come to me because that's how it worked. No. I said, I will live in the United States one day. I will be an IFBB pro. I will compete in high rocks. I will live in Laguna Beach. Like, these are all things that I have said and have happened. I would open a gym. I would sell a gym. I would open a supplement store. I would pose for Playboy. Like, all of it that I knew deep in my core that I was going to do. I said it, and then I had relentless action towards it. And I got everything that I wanted and more. And I know I'm about to get even more because I just set new goals to become a new version, to keep pushing forward. I developed a level of self-respect that said we don't play small anymore. Playing small nearly killed me. Playing small made me hate myself. Playing small kept me in situations, in places, in dynamics that I had outgrown, outshifted, just didn't even like being there because I was just had no self-respect. That's it. I'd lowered my standards. And I was like, this is it. And I just succumbed to it. And if you ask me, and you're not, but here it is. That's one of the poorest excuses for a life, is the moment that you settle. The moment that you're like, well, this is it. Nope. I don't care. Figure it out. Raise that goddamn standard and hit it. Because when you raise your standards and your standards are so high, this is coming from someone who had no self-respect. When you raise the bar and you finally hit it and you're like, no, you're not having access to me. No, doesn't align. No, I don't want that. No, it's not coming with me. No, you don't get access to me anymore. It's the greatest day of your life because you just created self-respect for yourself. And the only way that somebody can take that away from you is if you allow it. I know I went on a little bit of a rant then, and I'm starting to notice a trend that when I do solo episodes from my house, they're becoming a little bit more passionate. And I love this version, which is fantastic. But self-respect to me is just the core fundamental. When you have self-respect, it bleeds into other areas of your life. When you have self-respect, people respect people with self-respect, period. Again, coming from the person who had none. We're just going to recap real quick. Self-respect comes from standards. You attract what you are. So if you don't like what you're attracting, change who you are. As in, go in and do some deep healing, work on the inner wounds that we have. Otherwise, we're just projecting that shit onto our partners, and that's not fair. You have to heal that, not them, you. Just like they have to heal theirs. And number 3 is act as the person you want to be. Don't think about her. Don't be like, oh my God, I love that version of Ashleigh. And she sounds so fantastic. Okay, well, be her. Be her today, because you are her. The fact that you have that vision of her, again, depending on how woo-woo we want to get, because you have that version of you in your head, she exists in some realm. Pull her in. Pull her in by becoming her. If you're struggling in this area and you need some help, please click on the link below. Let's schedule a call, and hopefully I'll be able to help you in some capacity. Even if it's just sending you like a document to work through, or identifying areas in which you are playing small, areas that you hide or shrink yourself because you want to make other people feel comfortable. Like, no, we stop that shit. I have never met a person who, actually, I heard this quote the other day and it was phenomenal. It's people who are depressed, it's because they're suppressed. It's because they've silenced themselves or made them feel invisible by making themselves small because they don't want to make other people uncomfortable. That was me. I couldn't work out for the longest fucking time why I was so depressed, because I had never been in that place in my life, and it was because I put myself in a fucking box to make others around me less intimidated, less insecure, so that I didn't make other people feel like they couldn't have the spotlight too. I turned my light off so others felt more comfortable. And the only person whose respect I lost was my own. Thank you so much for joining me in today's episode. I hope it was valuable. I know that I give you my experiences, but I hope it's received from a place of, well, fuck, she's gone through it. Like, I don't ever want, they're saying like, we all think that we're alone in our problems, and it's not true. And that's why I give my experiences. Outside looking in, I've always got this comment that I look like I have it together, that I'm tough as nails, that I hate the word, but I'm so strong, so resilient. And I am, because I have to be, but I don't ever want others to feel like that, which is why I share experiences. So hopefully it's received that way. As always, thank you so much for listening. Please leave me a review, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's all appreciated. And until next time, I will see you in the next episode.